Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. Here to talk about some Tennessee Titans off-season updates. Really, it's the same two topics that we've been discussing on this channel. One is DeAndre Hopkins and the other is Malik Willis versus Will Levis. So let's go ahead and get DeAndre Hopkins stuff out of the way. I promised I was going to do minimal coverage on this, and minimal coverage I have every 2 weeks or so because people, look, I know you're bored. The NBA season is over. Golf is like every now and then. Look, today I'm bored out of my mind, out of my gourd. I can't wait tonight to just watch Wembanyama against Scoot Henderson. That's the highlight of my entire night. But do not go crazy over looking for updates on DeAndre Hopkins. He will not sign a contract until the end of July. Let me say that again. He will not sign a contract until the end of July. And I don't lie, okay? I'm just telling you. So people that continue to refresh and every day they're tweeting pictures and Photoshops, look, hey, if it makes you hype, I'm not going to stop you. Go ahead and do what you got to do. I'm good. Just let me know when he signs. But we do have an update, and this comes from ESPN's Mike Rice, who says the following. He says that the Titans have made a much more aggressive offer than the New England Patriots. Now, that's kind of vague. I assume more money. But I wonder if it's more money, flat money in terms of just base salary. I'm wondering if there's way more incentives. I wonder if there's more years. Have the Patriots only offered 1 year? I still don't understand the extent of the Patriots' interest here. It really doesn't make sense to me with who they just re-signed, Devontae Parker. And they brought in Juju. So it's going to be Parker, Juju, Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, and oh boy, who's actually not bad. Their other wide receiver who is a decent number 3. I can't remember his name right now. Not Jacoby Myers. Let me look at the Patriots depth chart. But they have a pretty decent trio right now. They got a better trio than we have. So Kendrick Bourne. So I don't even understand. I mean, Kendrick Bourne, I think is a fine number 3. But, I mean, if they want to make it a number 4, I get it. I mean, maybe he's better as a number 4. So, obviously, we're the team that needs him more, though. I mean, they got Devontae Parker, Juju, and Kendrick Bourne. We got Treylon Burks and, yeah. So, yeah. So, we're the ones that definitely need him more. So, I mean, if I want more volume, I'm coming here. If I'm him. The only one that's going to produce more than him is Treylon Burks, and maybe Hopkins outproduces Treylon Burks. I don't know. I don't think he would. I highly doubt it, but I don't think he would. So we're going to see, but more aggressive, and apparently Mike Vrabel is really down. Apparently they have a good working relationship, and apparently he has a good working relationship with Tim Kelly. So there are things there that they like. They get along. There's high potential for more. We're going to see. We're going to F around and find out. But for right now, I'm thinking this is actually looking likely. When I first thought he might be released, I was like, I don't really see it. Then when he was released, there was enough buzz to where I was like, okay, I see it. And then now, definitely seeing it. So gear up, boys. While we got the bad news with Nicholas Petit-Frere and Hassan Haskins, although Haskins, it's just unfortunate what happened to him and his girl. I don't know if anyone thinks that's going to affect the team. But with NPF, looks like John Hopkins might be coming in. For those of you that are still very enthusiastic about winning games this year, that's a good update for you. I'm still mixed. Anyway, I don't want to tank. I mean, well, tanking's over. It's just not happening. Now, we got an interesting report from Jim Wyatt. Now, we've been discussing, because I caught wind of this before I think anyone did. Maybe outside of the ones that were actually at practice, but I was like, is Malik outperforming Will Levis in these practices? Because that's what it seems like to me, but no one's really willing to go that far yet. So Jim Wyatt, who is a Tennessee Titans media member. Now, by the way, he's bought and paid for by them. So you got to take what he says as, always keeping the team's best interest in mind. And I'm going to get to that in a moment. But he was asked in his mailbag. This is a question from JB Jones from Houston, Texas, whatever. He says, blah, blah, blah. My question about Malik Willis is great to all the reports that suggest he's making improvements, but I'm still seeing articles slash posts out there suggesting his roster spot is in jeopardy. Doesn't the new rule that allows for the third quarterback to dress on game days more or less guarantee his spot? Please let me know if I'm missing something. Thanks. To which Jim responded, hey, JB, appreciate your reading. Malik's roster spot isn't guaranteed even with the new rule. Ryan Tannehill and Will Levis will be on the 53-man roster because Tannehill is a starter and Levis was a 33rd overall pick, and he is going to be given time. So Malik needs to keep improving and earn his spot. Right now, I think he will be on the 53 himself, and I wasn't thinking that way the beginning of May. Malik, and this is the important part, Malik outperformed Levis this offseason and definitely showed improvement from a year ago, but things can change. Now, most of the media, hell, all of the media, cannot see every practice. There is a select amount of OTAs and minicamp periods that they are allowed to see. As far as I know, and I could be wrong on this, but I really don't think I am, Jim White is allowed to see every practice. Correct me, someone, if I'm wrong, but considering he works for the team, I'm pretty sure he doesn't count under that rule. So if Jim White, who has seen every practice, is saying Malik outperformed Levis in mini camps and OTAs, I believe it. Unless if they're just trying to pump up Malik Willis's trade value. But that's all going to depend on how Malik Willis plays in the preseason. Because if he still plays like trash, then no one's going to trade for him because everyone's still going to believe he's trash. So are they gambling and saying, let's put this out there? Because enough people believe that Malik Willis has improved. If you ask the media members at A to Z Sports that have seen him, they've talked about how he's improved. If you ask Paul Kuharsky, he says he's improved. A lot of the national media or Titans or local media outlets are suggesting that Malik Willis has improved. This is nothing new. This is just the first one that I know of that has seen him in every practice other than a coach to say so. Interesting, because some would argue that because, some of the guys with A to Z and Paul Kuharsky only get, let's say, 50% of practices, maybe even less, let's say maybe 30%, that maybe Malik Willis looked better for 30%, but for the other 70% or a large portion of it, Will Levis actually looked better, and the media just caught, Will Levis on bad days. Doesn't seem like this is the case. Seems like Malik Willis legitimately outperformed Will Levis all offseason. And again, I remind you all, yes, Malik Willis has the extra year of NFL experience, which does come into play. However, how many years did they both play in college? Effectively 4, but really 5. And they're the same age. Literally, I think a month apart. They're literally the same age. Now, I'm not a huge guy when it comes to breakout age. That is a metric that a lot of draft people like to look at what point a prospect breaks out. And, the earlier, the better, the later, that suggests you have lower upside. I'm not huge into that, but you've seen it. It's happened. So I'm fine with the idea that if somehow, and I don't know if did he even have an extra year of eligibility? Maybe not. I don't think he did. But let's say a world where Malik Willis somehow had an extra year of college eligibility and he played another year at Liberty. Would he have been as good of a prospect as Will Levis? Would he have been a second-round pick instead of a third-round pick? What do you think? I don't know. I'm going to let everyone else speculate on that. But assuming that might be the case, what we have is 2 second-round quarterbacks as of this year who will battle it out. Does the extra year of NFL experience really help his progression that much? I don't know. And then will it help Will Levis ascend to the next level? I don't know. You can make that. It's a fair argument. It's a completely fair argument. So maybe next year Will Levis makes a bigger leap, and then now he's better than Willis. But I want a fair competition in camp between these two. Let the best man win. If it's Levis just because he's number 33 overall and we see Malik Willis outplay him, I'm not going to be happy. Now, I'm not going to care because I don't think either one of them are going to play, assuming Tannehill's healthy. But it would be unfair. I mean, it would be unfair, and I don't know how a lot of us feel about it. Because, look, if you want to win games this year, look, whenever or if Tannehill goes down, God forbid, we need the better backup quarterback in there. If it's Willis, and I know he was awful last year, and yes, my God, he was awful. But if he shows the improvement, he shows the improvement. Look, I mean, this is a different scale. I was not a believer in Jalen Hurts after his rookie year. I was not, man. I was like, man, I don't know about this. I don't know why the Eagles moved on. I don't know why they're having so much faith in Jalen Hurts. And he had an MVP level season. And I think he's going to come down to earth a little bit this year, but we'll see. It happens. I did not think Geno Smith was going to have his comeback of the year campaign. My God, where the hell did that come from? These things happen. So you have to be cognizant. You have to give him a chance. Will Vrabel give him a chance? Can he earn Vrabel's trust? Can he earn his confidence? I don't know. They're biased for Will Levis. I'll tell you that. The bias is going to be there. But with Wyatt now confirming this, it makes things very interesting. And with preseason just over a month away, I can't wait to sit and watch this take place. So I'm going to move to the comments where we have a super chat. So definitely want to get to that. This comes from Kick It to the King Productions. Thank you for the super chat, Joshua, for that. Who says the following. Assuming I'm able to actually pull this up. Where is my... There it is. If Malik is cut while showing in the preseason he's better than Will Levis, I'd want Vrabel fired. But he and Rand better be right about Will Levis, banking on the future with him as our quarterback one in 2024. So, at the very least, again, Willis would have to be awful for him to be cut. I think at the very least she can trade him for a 6th or a 7th. I'd be shocked if he's actually cut, unless if he's just awful in the preseason. Like, he didn't even look as good as he was last year. Last year he was okay. If he looks awful in the preseason, then yeah, he might get cut. Definitely Vrabel wouldn't get fired for that. But if you'd want him to get fired, that's your prerogative. Let's see. He'd be picked up elsewhere. We see how we do elsewhere. But I agree. I want a fair competition there. I'm still down for either one in 2024. I just want the better one. I don't care who it is. I don't give a damn that we spent more higher capital on Will Levis. Just give me the better one. Who's better? Levis has higher potential. Sure. Yeah, Christian Ackerberg had great potential. He never played. He never played. So I don't give a damn. Just throw the guy out there that can play. Thank you for the super chat. Kick It to the King Productions. So I'll stay here a little longer here on this very boring Sunday afternoon. And apparently Scoot is out, so that's great. But I'll still watch Wembanyama as he needs to bounce back after his mediocre performance on Friday. And, you know, my thing with Wembanyama right now, you're 7'3", bro. Drive to the rack. Stay in the post a little bit. And his shot, I mean, the guy, again, guys, he shot 27% from 3. Now, it was a international 3, so you have to give him credit for that, I guess. And Luka shot a very similar percentage as well. But he needs to get his 3-point shot down. Yes, it's a smooth stroke. I know a lot of people on the playground that have smooth strokes, they don't go in. Yeah, the mechanics are great, and then sometimes they still don't go in. He needs to get his shot down because we've never seen a guy this tall that can really shoot like this. Maybe it's impossible to be, or maybe not impossible. Maybe it's improbable. Maybe mechanically it's so bizarre for the body at 7'3" to be even, you know, aiming at this arc. Maybe he'll never be a high 3-point percentage shooter just because he's so tall and the mechanics of his shot, it's just not likely to go in. You have to run some physics on that. I'd love to run some physics on that. Yeah, anyway, thank you for the super chat. So, Fleur Clark says, I'm behind on the stream. But yeah, Scoot is sitting out. Yep, thank you for that. Let's see. What other comment should I address? And yeah, XX Wolfer XX says, wait, I thought you could have 3 quarterbacks without accounting on the 53-man roster. And yes, this is true. That doesn't mean you have to. Doesn't mean that you want to. If they decide, hey, could we have 3 quarterbacks? Yes. Do we want to have 3 quarterbacks? Nah, we're good. We'd rather have an extra defensive lineman. We'd rather have an extra offensive lineman, especially with this Nick and Petit Frere situation. They could decide that. So while they could, and while it makes a lot of sense, they still could cut him. And that's what Jim White specifically said. They still could absolutely cut him. All right. So that is going to do it for me here on a Sunday. I'll be back this week I'll probably make a couple of videos. I'll make like an initial 53-man roster because we're getting closer. And then if any headlines come out, I'll make some videos on those topics as well. Until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.